All right, let's be real for a second. Is your basement actually protected, or are we just kind of crossing our fingers and assuming the sump pump is going to work when that next big storm or freeze hits?
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking what usually looks like a boring, standard plumbing checklist and turning it into an absolute seasonal survival guide. If you live somewhere with wild weather swings, like Illinois, where we go from heavy spring rains straight into deep freezes, catching problems early is literally the only way to avoid a devastating basement backup. Here is our game plan for the year. We'll start with your front line of defense, run through a quick monthly routine, prep for spring storms, survive the winter freeze, lock down your power fail-safes, and finally, lay out the ultimate defense schedule.
Part 1. The front line of defense. Your sump pump's crucial role.
Look, before we even touch on maintenance, we've got to talk about emergencies. If your pump is running nonstop without taking a break, making weird grinding or whining noises, or frequently tripping your breaker, stop right there. Do not wait for a massive downpour. That's your cue to bypass the DIY maintenance and call a licensed pro immediately.
Moving on to Part 2. Your monthly sump routine. Quick checks for wet seasons.
Even if everything looks totally fine at first glance, taking just 60 seconds to look and listen can literally save you thousands of dollars. Every single month, just listen to the motor. Is it actually taking breaks? Check outside too. Is the water actively flowing away from your foundation? Keep an eye out for any pooling water near the pit inside. It's such a fast, powerful preventative habit to build.
Now, beyond just looking, you actually need to test it. Every few months, go ahead and use the built-in float switch or whatever method the manufacturer approves to safely test the system. You want to watch that water rise, make sure the pump kicks on, and confirm it's actually pushing water outside. And hey, please don't use makeshift methods like jamming a broom handle in there. You definitely do not want to break those delicate switches.
Section 3. Prepping for spring storms. Clearing the way.
So here's the thing. Your tactics absolutely have to adapt to the season. In spring, your biggest enemy is physical. Think debris, silt, and leaves washing right into the pit. But in winter, your enemy is temperature, with sitting water freezing solid in your lines. Understanding this difference is exactly how you stay ahead of the game.
When spring rolls around, you want to keep that pit clear of silt and leaves so the float switch can move freely. But be incredibly careful here. Only clean out what you can safely reach without damaging any of the seals or fittings. And seriously, do not drop your tools in the pit. Fishing a wrench out of murky sump water? Yeah, nobody wants to do that.
While you're down there cleaning, take a second to verify your check valve is actually doing its job. This valve is kind of the unsung hero that ensures when water gets pumped out, it stays out. If it fails, all that water just rushes right back in. That creates this terrible, endless loop where your pump is working twice as hard, running constantly, and eventually, it's just going to burn out.
All right, Section 4. Surviving the winter freeze, protecting against ice.
Now, your main goal in the cold months is making sure water is actually expelled, rather than just sitting there and freezing solid in your pipes. If your discharge pipe runs through an unheated space, wrap it up. Insulate it. Make sure the outside outlet is routed so ice doesn't build up and block the flow. And of course, always check your manual for any specific antifreeze recommendations.
Moving on to Section 5. Power, backups, and alarms. Because, let's face it, even the most perfectly maintained pump is completely useless without power.
First up, reliable power. And this is a non-negotiable rule, guys. Your pump must have a secure, dedicated power source. It needs to be plugged directly into an outlet that isn't connected to some wall switch that someone could accidentally flip off. And no extension cords, absolutely no way.
Severe storms obviously bring heavy rain, but they also have a nasty habit of knocking out the power. So you should strongly consider investing in a professionally evaluated battery backup system. You also need alarms to warn you if the water level rises too high or if the pump just fails. Test those alarms, make sure they are super loud, and stay on top of changing those batteries on schedule.
Finally, Section 6. The ultimate defense schedule, your year-round timeline. Okay, here is your complete year-round survival map. Honestly, you might want to take a screenshot of this. Every single month, look, listen, and check the discharge. Every 4 months, run an approved test. In the spring, clear out that debris. And before winter hits, double-check your insulation. Stick to this schedule for the basics, and just call a pro for the complex stuff. By sticking to this routine, you are totally taking control of your home safety and keeping that basement dry through the absolute worst storms and freezes.
So I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge today. Right after this explainer finishes, I want you to step down into your basement, take a good look at your pit, and ask yourself, when did you last test yours?